What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another SlabStox Monday live stream at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We have a great episode today because today is fully generated by you, the audience, on Instagram. Today we asked a question: which cards in the sports card market right now are the most overvalued? And there's a couple of answers that showed up a lot, a couple of answers where it's just one-offs. But we're going to look at all those different answers and look at the different data that might support it, doesn't support it, and just have a discussion around it. So we're happy to have you all here. And Nate, thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me. And Julian, no, I did not forget to glue on my fake beard. I was cutting my hair the other day. I went too low and I said, oh, now I have to trim my beard. So that's what I did. We cut off a good,
I didn't even notice that.
good solid chunk.
Yeah, it is. It is a little low there. What is up, Global Sports Card Investor? What is up, my Australian friend? You said my American amigos. Good to see you today. So as you can see on the little cover page here, we've got John Morant Prism Gold rookie of 10 and Mac Jones National Treasures patch auto rookie number of 99. Two Panini cards that are going to be very much part of the discussion of today's live. Before jumping into the content, what, Nate?
Real quick on Mac Jones, did you see that he was rated as the 85th best player?
I did.
You know that's voted on by his peers?
Yeah, it is. And I'm starting to think that players know nothing.
It's insane.
It is.
But also it's one of those things where it's like, if it was voted on by like media, I'd be like, eh. If it was voted on by or like random people on Twitter, I'd be like, eh. But the fact that it's voted on by the fellow players is kind of like somewhat interesting that there's enough people out there that give him credit.
Yeah, I mean, it does. You're right. I said players know nothing, but it actually gives him more weight the fact that it is voted on by his peers. But I do have to say, I'm not a Kirk Cousins fan. Classify myself as a Kirk Cousins hater and maker funner of. I don't know how to say that. I make fun of my Vikings friends is what I'm trying to say for Kirk Cousins. But I don't know how he's lower than Mac Jones as of right now. Kirk Cousins will do a lot more at the football for your team than Mac Jones will. That's what I see, at least.
Well, Kirk Cousins is kind of what he is, and he's like 32, right?
Yeah, but what is this? A dynasty football draft list, or is this a best players from 2021?
I get it. Yeah. And especially when you compare their numbers from last year.
Exactly. Kirk Cousins actually had some good numbers. Obviously, they didn't make the playoffs, but Matthew Johnson, don't worry, Mac Jones is going into a slump this year. I'd be pretty worried if I had some really high-end Mac Jones stuff going into this year. We'll see how it actually all pans out. But, yeah, we'll see. But I did want to shout this out before going to more sports card data talk because we do have just about 2 weeks left in August for you to submit an order onto slabstox.com/grading to unlock some free grades through our new submission service with SGC Grading. So we actually today, August 15th, the first submission went out to go to SGC with over 1,000 cards getting graded. Some absolute monsters in there. I posted some of the SlabStox story, the SlabStox grading story. Nate got some text for me, like some Evan Mobley optic, or not even optic. Well, actually, maybe it was, but it was like a Contenders Gold Auto out of 10.
I think it was Optic Contenders.
Yeah, Optic Contenders Gold Auto out of 10. There was some sweet baseball autos and stuff. Like, what's that guy's name? Trey Sweeney, orange out of 25.
Yep.
Some sweet vintage. There's a lot of really, really cool stuff. A ton of football, though. So many people sending their football to get graded, and then presumably sold before the season starts or right at the beginning of the season. SGC, we're turning around in like 3 business days right now from the time it arrives at SGC to the time it's shipped back to us, and then we'll ship it within 2 business days after that. But all that to be said is that you still have August to submit an order with these different promo codes here. You can see them on screen. If you're listening on podcast, make sure you go to slabstox.com/grading. And then once you get to the final step of your order, let's say you have 6 cards in your cart. So it'd be $23 times 6 cards. You could put in NTL 2022, NTL 22 to get one of those for free. So deduct $23 off your order. And then it'd be every single extra free card from that. You'd have to submit 5 more paid, and then you get 1 free. So NTL 222 will get you 2 free. NTL 223 will get you 3 free all the way up. Right now we have NTL 2210 active, which is grade 50, get 10 free on top of that. So pretty cool. I hope you all enjoy and you make use of it. Tons of collectors have already. Like I said, we have like 4 packages going out today. Super awesome to see. And then here's the order form. So when you land that, you know what you're looking at. You're supposed to be seeing this. Pretty easy to use. And if you have any questions, please email us grading@slabstox.com or send myself a DM on Instagram. Pretty easy to get to me. There are a couple things that we're working through at the website right now. Like if you submit over 20 cards, you actually have to use the file upload right now, but it's not forcing you to use the file upload, which it's supposed to. So make sure if you are submitting a high volume, you go to the file upload a spreadsheet or a CSV file. And don't forget, if you don't have semi-rigid holders, that's either like a card saver, like an Ultra Pro holder, or I guess there's like the Zion case holders too, the Zion shield. Yeah, like Nate's holding right now. He's got a card saver in his hand. Please, 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 if you don't have them, put in the amount that you need, because it does take a lot of time to transfer these things from top loaders to the semi-rigids. It does have to be paid for. It's only optional if you have semi-rigid holders already. We're switching this to make it required to put in a number, either 0 or whatever number you need, so it's not as confusing, but we do need them in semi-rigids.
Real quick, shout out to Kevin in Greendale, Wisconsin, home of the world's best donuts, National Bakery.
Look at that. From where, Nate? Greeby's? No, I'm kidding. That's in West Dallas, but I know what you're about to say.
No, I said it. National Bakery.
No, there we go. I didn't hear it, but I knew. Switchblade. Aaron Ashby going to turn into next Corbin Burns?
Let me tell you what. If Aaron Ashby finds some command, he walks a lot of guys, obviously, but if he finds some command, watching him the other day, throws a fastball 97, throws a curveball 79, throws his changeup 88, all with movement. I mean, if he figures out some command, like he's pretty good starting pitcher right now, it would be game over if he gets maybe not even Corbin Burns level command, but just less than that. Just nasty stuff.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Getting back to the discussion here, we've got 3 cards that ended last night in the PWCC Weekly Auction number 30 on our Flip Quest from last night. We didn't buy any of these 3. They're very expensive, but these were the 3 cards that landed on the podium. And the Instagram polls for the first time ever is split 33% for each between the Lewis Hamilton auto at 58, the John Morant and flawless RPA at 15, PSA 10, and then the Justin Herbert BGS 9 numbered out 20. It's the vertical dual patch. Nate, if you had to pick one, and the question was, what was the best bang for the buck? What was the best bang for the buck in your opinion of last night's podium?
I mean, one guy's like one of the best ever for his individual sport, but he's also the most expensive. Not a rookie, whole big thing. The other 2 guys, like
first certified autograph, though.
I think I have to go Lewis Hamilton because I mean it would be Herculean efforts for John Morant or Justin Herbert to be considered one of the best in their sport by the time their career is done. I just don't want to bet on that, so I'm going Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, I also going Lewis Hamilton for the sheer fact that this is like the card for him in Topps Chrome or in Formula One release, type of deal. You could argue a bunch of different cards are better than these John Morant and Justin Herberts, which there are better cards than that. There's also some better Lewis Hamiltons out there, but this is definitely one of the best to get, and I definitely think it's the best use of the money. Any Given Punch mentioned that the Lewis was selling for $50,000 last year. I think it depends on the grade. The last time this grade sold, BGS 8, it was like $17,000. So it gained $10,000 since last September till now for the specific BGS 8. And
lame auto.
Will says Hamilton's auto looks like my 3-year-old's auto. Hamilton's autos on the Dynasty cards are much better than on the Topps Chrome. On the Topps Chrome, they're very small and just swirly. On the Dynasty, at least it looks like it's got some form and it's a lot bigger, and obviously on card wins too. This was a fun question from Julie and Nate. Maybe you have some thoughts on this, but Jaguars over or under 6 wins on the season?
Okay, Doug Peterson there. A couple more healthy guys. I still have to go under.
Under?
Yeah.
I'm going to go under too, but this is the Contenders Lawrence PSA 10 auto sold for $4,200 last night. It's a 13% rise in 1 week. 1 week, it gained like $600 in the previous sale. So as you can see, football is heating up. While this is a wrong percent right here. That should not be under 104% drop. That's impossible.
I'll say this. If they are over, that will be squarely on Trevor Lawrence's shoulders. that makes sense.
If they go over 6?
If they go over 6 wins and are actually a good team, that's because Trevor Lawrence was really good this year, because I just don't think they probably have the roster to compete with some of the other teams. Though I will the AFC South is not exactly not exactly the picture of impressive teams.
Evan says, why did they wait for the worst contenders design to put it on Trevor Lawrence's rookie year? Yeah, it is. It was not one of my favorites either. It makes number one contenders on card all the time. This is on card, but why did they make it look like there's a sticker auto there, Nate? You see that? How it's kind of like got the shadow behind it?
Oh, I thought that was a sticker auto.
No, they're all on card, as they should be for the quarterbacks. It's crazy. I don't know whoever approved that design. Seriously, not good. I mean, it's a terrible design. And then, of course, we got the around $100 budget section here. Find a nice little $100 card. Sometimes it can work out for you. If you search hard on the flip quest, Nate, around $100, where's the best money spent right now between these 6?
I got to go with not knowing anything about the soccer player on the bottom right or the hockey player on the bottom left. I got to go with Jalen Hurts. Seems like Bam's time has come and gone. So, same with Gleyber Torres. Same with Christian McCaffrey. Though McCaffrey could obviously be healthy for the first time in years this year and make some noise, but I got to go Hurts, Obsidian.
Yeah, I think that the Hurts is like the best safe and risky play at the same time. I like that. I like Adam Fox, but card just not really that desirable in my. I mean, it's a Young Guns rookie. I don't want to like dump on the main rookie for hockey, but I just like the autos a lot more. I'm in the hockey market, and then Josh Sargent. I don't think he's gonna do much for U.S. this year. All right, here we go. Time to jump into officially, excuse me, the question from today's live stream, which is, what are the most overrated sports cards in the market right now, voted on by you, the audience? And the very first take here, which is about 12 different responses, and there were even a couple more than that, I think. What does it all to do with, Nate?
There were. There is one theme here. The main theme is 2021 rookie quarterbacks, but the rest of the theme is also just QBs in general. Tua was named, so we have a Tua graph. But by and large, 2021 rookie QBs were just slammed today. I'd say 75% of the responses we got were about rookie QBs.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell. It's like, is it because there's, a lot of the content we produce right now is like, hey, like you should be selling your quarterbacks leading up to the season unless there's that one guy who you really think's having a huge year, because most of them don't, gain value throughout the season, or if it's just like it actually is overvalued just in general. Because like in my eyes, it's both. You look at and we'll get into your drafts here, I know, but you look at all the different quarterbacks, especially from the 2021 class, and you look at quarterbacks prior to them, like the Josh Allens, Lamar Jacksons, and I'll let you talk about that, but it's just like they're not that good compared to these guys, and they're selling for a ton.
Not a single one of them was impressive last year. Not a single one. And not only that, but I think it's because, like, you look at the camo you bought the other day of
Rashawn Gary.
Rashawn Gary, thank you. You got that for $80, and he had a really good year last year, and a lot of people are picking him to be like a breakout superstar this year. And if he is, cool. If he isn't, still should be pretty good. But like if he ended up with a 15, 16, 17 sack season, that card still isn't going to jump that drastically, the card you bought. It will jump, but it won't jump drastically. And you guys, he would be a star at that point, more of a star than, say, probably a Zach Wilson, even though he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. It's, I don't know. It's absurd. It's absurd how QB heavy this is, and how you can have other really good players that go for barely anything. And
the way I look at it is in 3 or 4 or 5 years, are these guys going to be relevant either in the card market or even in the NFL world? I'd say at least half of them won't be. I don't know which 5 or which of the 6 you could say Davis Mills won't be relevant, but I guess I'd probably put my money on like Zach Wilson, Davis Mills. I even think Mac Jones could be there more than like a Trey Lance. And Lawrence, it just depends on if the Jaguars add any talent or get good enough, because if they're not good enough, then he can't really perform probably.
And real quick, Matthew brings up a good point. 2021 rookie QB is a lot better than 2022 rookie QBs, and it should be pointed out that sorry, it should be pointed out that that could be some people's thinking is, hey, I'll just spend more money on these 2021 rookie QBs right now. We brought this up when the draft happened. Spend more money on the 2021 rookie QBs because you're not impressed by Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett or somebody like that, and you don't think they're going to be valuable, and 2022 Prism's not going to be valuable. Well, if I'm not going to spend my money on that, I might as well spend it early and get into some QBs, rookie QBs, before their second season starts.
Yeah, and I get that there's this kind of like window that's put onto each quarterback. I feel like in the market, we see it a lot of times. It's you got like a 3-year window. I feel like to really like hit that big growth that you want to see. It happened with Herbert and Burrow did hit that big growth from when their cards were released. Jimmy Garoppolo eventually did once he got traded and stuff to the Niners, and that came later in his career. But I feel like for a lot of players like Kyler Murray, I remember last year was going into his third season. A lot of people were like, oh, it's the make or break season. I do feel like that his market did drop a lot when he didn't really like make it. Now, I mean, he did okay. They started really hot, but his market did drop a ton from when it was going into that third season. So we'll see what happens here. But why don't you just start talking about a couple of these guys and we'll go through these a little bit quicker.
Yeah, so we got a lot to get through today. So first one up, Tua was named, so I grabbed a non-base, non-hollow Tua, and it's Mosaic Pink, and it's up in the last 6 months. Not drastically. I can't believe I didn't realize I didn't grab the bottom chunk there.
Probably up by $1.
This is the first time I've noticed that. Up by $1.
That's what it looks like.
Hashtag worth it. It might be more than that. It's tough to tell on something like this. But that being said, I don't know. I mean, you can call Tua overrated and overvalued. I'm a Tua believer, so you know where I stand. I'm just excited to watch him play with some good wide receivers and a good coach.
Yeah, it will be pretty exciting to see. But we got Trevor Lawrence here. This is his 2021 XRC Select rookie. So technically from 2020, I was released, but it's a 2021 rookie, PSA 10. It's chilling at like $1,100 right now, or $1,050. No, sorry, $1,100. That's right. It's a pop 104. But with all the other rookie cards coming out now, like this card at the time when it released, because the redemptions were hitting like halfway through last season, is really one of the only cards you could grab of a player. And this did gain 9% over the last 6 months, that is. But, some people obviously are calling for the overvaluedness. And then if you compare it to
real quick, don't keep going. Go back. There's a method to this madness. Card Ladder only had 4 graphs. They only had the select XRCs that weren't base.
Yes.
So I didn't want to grab base, so I grabbed the select XRCs. So you will see a select XRC price for every single rookie QB, and it will get compared to Lamar Jackson, a couple different Lamar Jackson cards, but Lamar Jackson, because obviously Lamar has won an MVP. He's been a multi-time Pro Bowler. He's really good. He gets disrespected, but it's like you can see the price there. Sold price $13.95, July 31st for a PSA 10. That's only $250, $275 more than this than the Trevor Lawrence. And what has Trevor Lawrence done? He was the number 1 pick. Outside of that, he he either almost set a record for rookie interceptions by a QB, or he did. I don't remember if he beat Peyton Manning's record or not, but it's insane. And so it's like just being the number 1 pick makes you almost as valuable as a former MVP. Get out of here. Right. I'm definitely agreeing. And I also brought up something a little bit cheaper to compare to some of the other cheaper rookies. The select silver field level PSA 10 pop 179, still under 200 pop. Obviously not close to the other things, but like this is a really nice card of Lamar, $650. So just keep those prices in mind for Lamar as we look at the other ones.
Definitely. I'll let you keep going. I was trying to spare you some talking, but I'll let
appreciate
you get
it.
through it. Yeah. Really quick, I want to bring up Matthew's thing because Matthew said, so answer me this. Why is Jamar Chase, contenders, and national treasures almost the same price as rookie QBs? Is he already at his ceiling? I'll have you pause on that and wait maybe like 25, 30 more minutes as I actually bring something similar to that up.
Perfect. All right, so Justin Fields What did Justin Fields do last year? You know, Pop 88, I get it. Uh, one of his nicer select cards, I get it. But $660, if I'm spending $650, give me that Lamar Jackson field level silver PSA 10 all day long, twice on Sunday.
It is kind of ridiculous to see. Well, yes, I guess you could say, you compare the Lamar Jackson XRC to the field level itself. The XRC is 2 times as valuable. So you can maybe look at these two cards and the fact that they're on the same level, you'd almost say that the Lamar is like 2 times as powerful of a price, Nate. So you probably
Yeah.
are spending double on this Lamar, like just value wise on top of the Fields. But still, I mean, straight dollars and cents. It's like if Fields is irrelevant in 3 years, Lamar Jackson might have another MVP or is leading the Ravens to the playoffs and more. Like, definitely, you'd rather have that in your collection.
I mean, there's possibility that Aaron Rodgers plays 3 more years. You think Justin Fields is leading the Bears past Aaron Rodgers in the next 3 years at all?
I doubt it.
Yeah. So it's like it's insane. Mac Jones, $800. I was actually shocked by this. It has dropped significantly, 48% drop there. Pop 124. Of course, the pop has probably gone up as the price has gone down. That being said, $800 still a pretty healthy chunk of change. And I would much rather, I like Justin Fields from the idea that his head coach got removed and he has a new head coach. But I like the idea of Justin Fields for cheap. Yeah, Matthew says it. I like the idea of Justin Fields for cheap, not spending $660 on him and hoping that it was the head coach that changes things around. That's insane to me. I'd much rather spend $800 on Mac Jones, knowing he has Bill Belichick and has the confidence of his peers. That being said, I would still rather go with Lamar Jackson.
I agree. And also, you brought up a good point, very valid, that this card definitely decreased in price 48% because of the population increase, but also because of all the other cards hitting the market since then. National Treasures, Immaculate, Contenders, Flawless, missing others, but whatever. I mean, Optic, and I'm sure Select is going to be here soon. So if this shows you anything, do not buy in early on like the first good release that's possible for football quarterbacks, because 6 months later, you definitely could get a bargain compared to that. Unless for some reason in this amount of time something happened, like the Patriots traded for Devontae Adams instead of not doing nothing, like something like that.
Yeah. Zach Wilson, same thing. Didn't have a graph, but $608 PSA 10. Same along the same lines as literally everyone else. And this one's insane to me. Trey Lance, PSA 10. $1,050 August 9th. There was one a day before it that sold for $1,100. So this isn't like somebody way overpaying. And like I've seen some things like Trey Lance could have a breakout like Patrick Mahomes did in year number 2 in the NFL, this and that. I get it. Okay. He's got why can't I think of his coach right now? Shanahan. But $1,100, $1,050 for a guy that proved nothing last year.
I don't know about you. I understand that Trevor Lawrence was like the first overall pick and was one of the most hyped prospects in a long time. Andrew Luck by most hyped since Andrew Luck for sure. But it's just kind of crazy to see that thing still over $1,000 with how bad the Jaguars were and how bad they're probably gonna be this year, and knowing that the situation probably hasn't changed a whole lot for them. Like, it still is a lot of money. I would rather, I think, from like a risk standpoint or like a risk reward standpoint, put it on Trey Lance, even though $1,000 seems crazy. At least you know the Niners have a chance to contend.
That's true, and they've got really good players around him on both sides of the ball. So from that standpoint, yes, I would much rather buy Trey Lance than Trevor Lawrence, but for $300 more, I can get Lamar Jackson, the sure thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Matthew says, Julian, I see why they didn't want you on the show this week. Your comments are insane. Julian said the best QB in the league, MVP incoming for Trey Lance. And he said Justin Fields is booty. History shows OSU QBs not made for NFL. I mean, he's not wrong there. How many OSU quarterbacks have not succeeded? A lot of them. But also he says go Wisco. And yes, go Wisco. But I also have to admit that, I mean,
how many Wisconsin quarterbacks have succeeded in the NFL?
Exactly. I mean, Russell Wilson was there for one season. Wisconsin did really well because he was already really good. It's not like that we recruited him and then made him really good. I agree with that, Nate. Our guy, top 10 Tony.
Yeah, top 10. Along the same lines, but different, not 2021 rookie QBs that haven't done anything, but Josh Allen and Justin Herbert, who have both shown very impressive talent in the NFL, and Josh Allen at least close to some MVP awards. But you see the Prism Silver PSA 10 here, pop 201, $4,050 price tag. And then if you quickly go over to the next one, Justin Herbert, $4,920 price tag, but a pop 105. And so before you lose your mind and say, how can Justin Herbert be almost $1,000 more than Josh Allen? Just remember half the pop here. If he had a pop 200, I'm sure the price is significantly lower than Josh Allen's.
Yeah, Josh Allen's market cap is far bigger than Justin Herbert's based off of that. It'd also be interesting to look at how many PS9s were of each. I mean, obviously, it still doesn't tell the full story because the card's not numbered. So when they're not numbered, it's hard to know exactly how many are out there to get a direct comparison.
Out of curiosity, though, Aaron,
Yep.
because I'm not really willing to say that either of these guys is overrated or overhyped. I think they're both appropriately hyped in that they're both insanely good. The prices, I mean, $5,000 for a piece of cardboard is insane if you think about it like that. But from a price standpoint compared to other cardboard, it doesn't feel like outrageous by any means. Or $4,000 Josh Allen. So like for me, if you had to choose one of these, Josh Allen for 4,000 but double the pop, or Justin Herbert for 5, which one would you choose?
I gotta go with the Herbert. I think the Bills have the best chance this year between the Chargers and the Bills. Definitely. I mean, that's not like a very big statement. That's pretty obvious. But the whole fact that this 2020 Prism stuff is super, super hard to grade. I mean, there's a lot of quality control issues. I mean, even more so now at 2021. You can just tell how it keeps getting worse and worse every single year. Shout out Panini. We just had that brought up last night. I think Nate, they're talking about Fanatics with them taking the licenses. Is the quality control going to keep going down? And it appears it is. But very tough to get PSA 10 in this card. 105 is pretty solid. And I just think that where he can and either still have that potential of the Super Bowl versus like Mahomes, who's already done it, been there, done that type of thing, Super Bowl MVP. So whichever one can race there, I think you're going to see massive gains and in their markets. Now maybe neither do it because there's so much other competition as we've talked about with Burrow and Lamar Jackson and Mahomes obviously still and whoever else you want to say. But I think Herbert, man, he's a freaking stud.
That is
So is Allen though.
that is another feather in the Trey Lance cap. I hate to be saying that because Julian's in here, but from a young QB standpoint, take Kyler Murray out of the picture, and not too many people are impressed by him. Take Rodgers out of the picture because he's not young. Take Matthew Stafford out of the picture because he's not young. Take Tom Brady out of the picture because he's not young. Who are the young QBs in the National League, NFC that are like worth buying?
Nate's so riled right now by Manny calling out Nate for being a Jayhawks fan.
He is, but I'm just ignoring him completely. Who are the young QBs that could pop off? It's basically Trey
Uh,
Lance.
yeah, I mean, honestly, like you said, Trey Lance, everyone kind of used that logic for Kyler Murray. So hopefully he doesn't pull a Kyler Murray and, choke in the playoffs and everything once he gets there. But, well, actually, maybe for our sake as Packers fans, I really hope he does. I mean, we can't beat the Niners for anything. So I hope he does choke. But you're right. I mean, the competition level is so much lower. If you can make waves and be very impressive in the NFC, you'll probably, help out your market quite a bit faster than an AFC quarterback, especially. I mean, I'd even bring up the older guys like Wilson and Carr. Not that Carr's amazing, but he can definitely beat you, I feel like, on any given Sunday type of deal. I mean, anything can happen there in the AFC.
Correct.
Northwoods card collector. Shout out to Jordan, said vintage baseball. We just talked about this the other night too. It's just the quote flavor of the month, and eventually someone will be caught holding the bag. And Nate brought up some cards here to talk about. Nate, I'll let you talk about these and I'll talk about vintage baseball in general.
Yeah, so I just grabbed 3 examples of cards that have kind of popped off in the last 3 months. 3 months here. 39% for a 19, does that say 56? 65.
65.
1965 Tops Mickey Mantle SGC 5. Now, obviously, as we know, and as all you know, there can be a change in price because of looks of the card. That being said, 40%, 39%, we'll round down, 39% change in price between sales is definitely not going to be just because one of the cards is more centered than the other.
Unless one, it looks like this SGC 5 on the screen right here. That's like literally off the card, and then one is perfectly centered. That could definitely be happen. But
You think that would be almost a 40% gain?
oh, I think so. But also you have to look, and it's not from the bottom, it's from like a midpoint, the comparison 40%.
Yeah.
Because it would be even more of a gain if you looked at from the bottom point. But either way, I still agree with what you're saying right now.
Yeah. And then just a couple more examples. Roberto Clemente, obviously RIP, and he jumped 44% from 7,000 to 10,000 PSA 6. And who knows, same rules apply. And then Ricky Henderson, a little bit newer, tried to still go quote unquote vintage, but 1980s Ricky Henderson PSA 9. I should have grabbed the pop on these because I believe there's a ton.
There is a lot of Ricky Hendersons. Notably, this card is pretty off-centered horrendously on a lot of the PSA 8s. I think that some of the 9s can be off-centered, but if you do look at this graph, I think, Nate, so there's 2,000 of these, 2,000 PSA 9s. Shockingly, there's actually been, since the beginning of the year, like over 100 added. Oh, wait, no, just kidding. That's like 50. That's still a good amount, though. 50 PSA 9s added?
I mean, we're talking 42 years here.
Yeah, like that is still quite a bit. I mean, you never know how many could be crossovers or anything like that. But either way, I think this graph shows the rise in, let's say, a vintage segment because of the PSA 9, less variation between the eye appeal versus like a really good PSA 5 versus a bad one, or SGC 5 to a bad one. And I agree with Northwoods a ton on this section. I'm not a vintage collector. I have 2 vintage cards. And I don't want to sit here and like say that a segment of the market is worse than another. But all I know is when you look and you see a bunch of people who weren't buying vintage before talking about and buying vintage at a given time, and you see rises like this, it very quickly leads to falls. That it can apply to any segment, any card, anything I collect, anything Nate collects. It doesn't matter who's collecting. It can happen. Yeah,
I have a question. If you see a lot of people talking about a segment and getting into a segment quick, you can maybe this is a broad assumption of me or something, but you can assume that they don't know enough about looking at eye appeal, potentially. If they're just chasing the bag, maybe they don't know about eye appeal and they're just buying PSA 6s to buy PSA 6s, no matter what it looks like. And then, I mean, there's no way to prove that, but like, from what I know of people that I know that have just went from one thing to the next, just chasing the money, I don't really think they ever took their time to learn. It was just buy. And so if you didn't take your time to learn the vintage market and you just saw PSA 6,
I mean, Nate, you're not wrong. I don't think we can sit here and say that's definitely what's happening.
No,
but
I know.
I think there's a chance that that's happening.
Yeah. So it's like I think then if you go back to the other graph where it's like, could be just eye appeal. I mean, if that's the most recent sale 812, it could just be somebody that just doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I'll shout out one more thing here. First off, all this data from today, like always, is coming from Card Ladder Pro, amazing data platform, 30 million plus data points through the sales history. Got all the different like 25,000 verified cards or tracked cards and everything. But there is one thing that has to be said. Well, I love Card Ladder. I love the people that made it. I love how it works. Vintage is very hard to put on a graph because of all these things we're talking about right now. We just spent 10 minutes going back and forth about, is this 39% gain actually a 39% gain? And then I just pulled up the chart here right now because the SGC 5 that did sell for 850 was definitely more centered than the other ones that have been selling. Now it is a lot more, like that's a $400 higher gain. But another thing I'd point out, there is a pre-centered one that happened on May 9th for 510. I don't know if May 9th, May 9th is just right before this chart started, the 3-month, but that's still like a $300 or $300 gain on a 2 center copies with new labels. So yeah, I mean, Nate's right. And I do think that like there are some, Nate, that are also off center that were selling for what previously center copies sold for. So
oh wow.
That like you don't want to, like I wouldn't be in that. Like if I had to get a recommendation, do not buy an off center vintage card for what centered cards were selling for 3 months ago. That's probably one of the, at least in my opinion, one of worst purchases you can maybe make right now. But I don't want to like say that to. I know. I mean, you can make money on pretty much anything that can go up in price because it gets talked about more, just like vintage has been. So I guess it might work out, but it just doesn't seem logical, is what I'm trying to say. Here's one that popped up that this is another thing that's been talked about at length by a lot of people, including us. So I'm not gonna like say we're not some of those people, but like anything with a serial number. So for a certain point in time, there was case hit, case hit, case hit. You can get the zebra, the color blast, the kaboom, the manga, or whatever they're doing out in football.
Downtown.
Yeah, you name it. All the different non-numbered Panini inserts, and then a couple tops, I'm sure, along the way. But Wolf says anything with a serial number is overvalued because now, over the last, I'd say like 6 months, we've been talking about, I'm sure, for over a year and a half now, maybe 2 years though, or more too. But serial number cards, the print run, you can tell how many are out there, how many might be yet to release to the market, whatever you want to talk about. But I guess if you see too many cards coming into the market at one time of a serial number card, maybe it's not as rare as it seems, kind of like this John Morant.
Well, here's what I'm confused by. So if serial number is overrated, or whatever the question we asked was, does that mean that, like, what's your other option? Non-numbered? Because
it's like if we pulled up the silver PSA 10 graph of John Morant to be way worse.
I put a base on the next slide for a comparison. You can see it's dropped 40% in the last 6 months compared to the blue that has raised 17% in the last 6 months.
Increased 17%.
Just one of those things, or 18%. Let's round up 18%. Take that extra 40.42. It's just one of those things that of all the questions, this was the most confusing to me because I understand what he's saying, and yet it's like, what else? What else do you want in the card market if you're going to consider that serial numbered cards are overrated? Because you can see this specific one, only one example, obviously. There's going to be a lot more examples that don't support this decision, but it was the first one I looked up and it worked, so I went with it. Right here, 18% increase for a serial number card, 40% decrease for a non-serial number base.
Yeah, that's like a huge difference. You have lost thousands placing that type of money on the base, or even the silvers versus the blue. Now, this is just Prism also. You can look at other cards. And I have to say this, anything with a serial number is a stretch. And I think that we just showed that and debunked it. There are definitely cards that are serial numbered that Panini has just serial numbered to try to capitalize on the serial number, which I think is a good point here to think about. NT vertical patch autos out of 49 out of 75 from this year's NBA National Treasure seems stupid to me. I mean, they never used to have those, and it's just like, let's just make more of the things that's going to make more people go spend the money because they sell for some money now, but 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, we don't know.
Bowman did the same thing with their lavas and their blue lavas, and they already had the solid colors and the shimmers, and then they added the pinks out of 199 that never existed, and then all of a sudden there's lavas along with shimmers of blues and reds and that stuff, along with the black and white ray wave autos and all that stuff that has been added along the way. So both companies are guilty of it, just adding serial numbered stuff to add it.
Yeah, and Tech pointed it out. They aren't overpriced, but the numbered pool has gone up, which is true. If you look at them on serial number cards and in the circulation, it's definitely so much higher now. I still got to be selective when buying. I try to stick to 10 out of 25 out of 50. It just depends on what it is. And Will brings up a good point. Don't bother chart analysis for vintage, not enough sample size, and the huge variance with eye peel. You definitely have to look at the actual cards they're selling. I totally agree with you. Anything to tease from Gage? So we had a good Instagram post that came out today on Fernando Tatis's market. Of course, PEDs, all that happened, suspension. Well, we already have his Sapphire PSA 10 Topps Chrome rookie update here. It's dropped down to $800 after being worth like $1,680 a week ago and over $2,500 6 months ago, which obviously is like outdated data point because market was higher pre-baseball season. But even if it still is a huge drop in the last week alone, over 50%. If this is the most overvalued thing, then I guess that means that this is going to drop another 50% maybe. So, and I wouldn't be surprised, Nate. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. The baseball season coming to a close, no games for him next season for the first, like, I don't know, however many, 50 or something like that. No spring training. This definitely has legs to drop down to like $400.
I agree. Also, I'm a pretty big believer in a lot of a guy's market is made up by his home fans wanting to buy him. Like not drastic amounts or anything. Like there's obviously people that are not Padres fans that buy Tatis, but there's going to be a lot of Padre fans that hold Tatis, right? They're going to be the people that kind of personally collect him and hold that price up. And if they see a good deal, buy it and personally collect it, right? I've seen on Twitter, there's a lot of Padres fans out there on Twitter, and by and large, I'd say 95% of them hate Fernando Tatis's guts.
Well, yeah, because the guy has done repetitive things to screw the team and the franchise over.
Correct. And those are the people that were collecting his cards. They're probably no longer collecting. They're probably dumping in droves. And you're going to see when the collectors no longer want to collect a guy and the flippers don't have somebody to sell to at the end of the line to be a collector, huge drops.
And that applies to anything, Nate, not just Tatis, what you just said.
Yeah.
Matthew says Tatis going to be a buy soon. I feel like he's nearing the low right now. I don't think that he's near the low right now. I mean, we've only seen 6 days. Unless we think that's going to drop like a brick and then bounce back and rise for the next 6 months, I think that there's plenty of room left to go on a lot of these cards of his. Tech says, do you think he's going to appeal? He already is not appealing. He said that it's his own mistake. And, yeah, so that's
his dad. His dad came out and said something uber stupid today. I can't remember what it was. I saw a tweet. And it's just like still digging the grave, except not just Fernando Tatis this time, but his father and his PR team. Somebody has to go over there and just like tell his entire team to just be quiet, not say anything, and just let this and not do anything either. Goodness gracious. I mean, I've never seen somebody fall from grace so quick, so fast like Fernando Tatis has this year.
Oh my gosh.
From top 3 MVP last year to probably the most hated player on his franchise.
And don't forget about Face of Baseball in between there.
Yep.
We got Kevin Cormier here with one of the soccer overvalued responses here. Panini Soccer Parallels way outpace the similarly numbered tops. Kevin, I have some data here to share. Now I have to preface this with this is 2 different players. This is only 2 examples of those players. This is not looking at the newer stuff, the cheaper stuff. Let's say like looking at like a Topps Finest Holland second-year card, blue out of 50, or it's not numbered out of 50, but let's just say blue out of 50 versus a Panini, whatever their numbered out of 50 is. So while I'm going to almost debunk what you said a bit, I still think that you probably have some reason here. And also, I agree, Topps Soccer is way better than Panini Soccer. So I do agree with you. But I'm just going to share some data here. So 2018 purple of 99 PSA 10 of Kylian Mbappe from the first Prism World Cup set for him. This was in his French kit. This was released a year after his Topps Chrome and a PSG in his select, field level PSG, but still a big card, Prism World Cup. And this sold for $13,200, a purple of 99 PSA 10, May 21st. You look at the select white of 99 PSA 10. This, I'd say, is one of his most sought-after rookie cards. $6,500 in December 17th, 2021. You kind of assume that price is almost, higher at the time than what a May 21st sale would be too. But that's about half the price of the Prism of the same number. You look at the same number in Topps Chrome 2017, and maybe this is a flawed example for the reason that this is the first release of Topps Chrome ever. On top of it being Mbappe's rookie card, sold for $16,800 for the same color of 99 PSA 10. It sold for more than the purple. It sold for more than the white of 99 from Select. But like I said, it is a little bit of a flawed example because this is the first Topps Chrome Champions League. It is one of Mbappe's first and true rookie cards outside the sticker in 2016. But I thought Mbappe would be a good example because a lot of people know him. And then we've got Messi here. This is Messi Prism Purple of 99 PSA 10 from 2018 also, $750. This is a 2018, so the same year, not the first year of Topps Chrome, because I knew that thing would be way more. But the Topps Chrome green of 99 PSA 10 sold a year ago for $698. So that's a little bit closer in price, although now that green would probably sell for a lot lower than 700 versus last summer. So technically, this would support your example that you'd rather have the Topps Chrome green. And I guess that's actually all I had for the soccer example. But I want to point out that Evan is probably hinting more towards where Tech says Topps Merlin Chrome over Prism Soccer, like Prism EPL, I'm assuming you're saying. And I agree with that. I mean, you find a gold out 50 in Topps Chrome, and that's way better than the out of 49 green ice or whatever from Prism, at least in my opinion. So I'm not saying that Kevin's wrong. Kevin's definitely got a point here, but I just want to bring up some of the bigger Mbappe and Messi cards to look at. I have cards. Jordan 86 Flair PSA 10. We've talked about this card on a few different content pieces over the last couple of years, comparing the Jordan Flair PSA 10. That's like a pop 330 or something like that. But in total, it's like over 20,000, I believe, PSA graded Jordan rookies. Comparing to different, on-card patch autos, everything. So right now you can see how things trended, all the way up to that $750,000 down, back up again, and then way down. Now it's at 216K. 216K around there would buy you recently an on-card 1999 game used jersey auto, 23 out of 23 PSA 10 of Jordan. It would also, if you pitched in more money, $90,000, you could get triple auto on card of Kobe, MJ, and LeBron. And then that same money or a little bit more also would get you an exquisite limited limited logos patch auto of 75 BGS 9.5 back on July 21st. So it's just kind of it's debated a lot. Nate, I don't know if you have any more thoughts there. It's like, would you rather have the high population iconic rookie, or do you rather have a serial numbered autograph? That's pretty much what the debate is.
That's tough. That's actually tough because obviously it is high pop, but it is one of the most iconic cards in history of cards, right?
It is. It's probably one of the top, I'd say guaranteed 5. You could say top 3 if you want to put it with the Mantle and the Honus Wagner, probably.
So, like, while I get that having an auto or a patch auto or a triple auto with some couple other guys, LeBron, Kobe, would be cool. Though there's a lot of Jordan autos out there. There's a lot of Jordan jersey cards out there. And so, like, if you got all the pop of all of those added up, it would probably be pretty high pop, even if they're different.
Yeah, but it's similar. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
More than 330 for sure. Jordan autos in existence from Upper Deck.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear the audience's thoughts. If y'all want to add in right now, would you rather have the PSA 10 Jordan 86 Fleer, the iconic card, maybe not technically his first rookie, obviously, the 84 star, or would you rather drop some money on like this 1999 Upper Deck game used jersey auto of 23 PSA 10? Cool card. For me, man, I love autos. I'd probably go with the auto, but I actually agree with Nate's point too. You add up all the autos of Jordan, and what's the real difference between one that has a jersey in the bottom right versus in the middle versus in the top, whatever. But it's a good thing to think about. Now, it's also something that we can't even act on. I'm sure a lot of people can't act on either, whether it be a $200,000 card, but it's fun to think about.
Nope.
Midwest Ripper says he wants the 86 Fleer PSA 10. Timo says, Nate, I hear Trout's career may be injured or maybe over at the back injury. What do you say?
I mean, it's unfortunate. Over. I would be shocked if it's over because he's owed a lot of money, and I think he'll just keep playing through it till he gets it paid all. But will he ever play even like 130 games again? I don't think so. Will he hit? He might not even play 110 games again in the season. It might be like 100. Them trying to get him to play 100 games and be healthy for the playoffs if they ever make it. But I would be shocked if it's over just because of how much money is left on that deal.
Lucas says, thoughts on the 86 Fleer sticker. Picked up one last night in the PWCC weekly auction. Prices on that have dipped a ton. Honestly, I'm probably not the best guy to ask if it's a good buy or not right now because I'm not a 80s, 90s basketball collector. But all I have to say is that if you do want a Fleer Jordan, you want to buy it at an affordable price, it's probably not a bad option. Obviously, you can get probably like a lower grade 86 Fleer, the actual card versus the sticker. But if you want to get a higher grade and you like higher grades, I'd say go for it. It sounds good. All right, this one here is from the average Joe 26. Everything and anything, National Treasures and Flawless. So both products extremely overvalued, says the average Joe 26. Now let's look at this, Nate, because I just saw this posted on Katie's Card Shop story. Shout out to Katie. Jamar Chase's redemptions have started to be fulfilled, and we've got a $6,000 raw price tag.
Yeah, I knew that because I put one in my in my in the newsletter today.
Oh
Because
man,
I'd never seen one before. A
I
true
haven't
RP,
either.
true RPA.
I just, oh my gosh, I just posted about the redemptions like a week ago, and now we have the redemptions are like $3,500, Nate. That's what I was posting about, and now it's $6,000 for the redeemed one. And you look at that, and that was Matthew brought up a long time ago, but it's like, hey, look at the 6K and compare it to the quarterbacks. Well, for around 6K, you could probably get like a Zach Wilson raw. So would you rather have a Jamar Chase, who I think will be very relevant 3-5 years from now, or Zach Wilson, who might not be? But also, you look at this and you compare it to other wide receivers. Dude, Devontae Adams, 1-of-1 platinum patch auto from NT, the true RPA, not the subsets, but it's obviously not 99, but it's the 1-of-1. So for like $2,000 last summer, prior to his last season with the Packers, is this topped out for a wide receiver?
You got to remember that Devontae Adams, it obviously had a couple really good seasons the last 2 years, 1,300 yards, 1,500 yards. But sorry, Jamar Chase just put up records for the amount of receiving yards by a rookie at 1,455 and 13 touchdowns in his first season. Like he's
right.
putting up prime. He put up prime Devontae Adams numbers in year number 1.
Minus the 17 touchdowns or whatever. But yeah, so
Well,
13 is a lot.
he had 13 touchdowns. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a
and
lot.
1,455 yards, which is a lot. And it's like, I mean, what is he going to do when he's 28, 29 like Devontae?
Well, even take out the Devontae comparison, but just in general, do you think that this is any chance $6,000 and further from here? Like, I guess let me just boil it down very easily, Nate. 2-year window, Zach Wilson RPI of 99, Jamar Chase RPI of 99 for $6,000. Which one do you rather have for 2 years? And you had to sell in 2 years.
I mean, in a 2-year window, Zach Wilson. In a career, Jamar Chase. And the reason for that is because if Jamar Chase stays healthy, born March 1st, 2000, so he is 22 right now. He was 21 last year. He's going to be 22 all of this year. 20, if he gets similar numbers through his age 20s, through his 20s and doesn't get injured, he's going to be an all-timer. We're talking one of the best ever at his position. If obviously huge on the injuries, huge on the whatchamacallit, but it's hard to argue with a guy that just started his career with 1,455 yards and 13 touchdowns in one season.
Yeah, and Joseph said, look what happened to DeAndre Hopkins, 1 knee injury, and I would add and a PED suspension now. And the hobby writes you off. It's true. When you hit your peak as a wide receiver, you can fall from the top very fast. And that happened to DeAndre Hopkins. So it is a sustained thing. If he can sustain for a whole career, I mean, insane, obviously.
Yeah, if he
Odell also.
healthy.
Odell Beckham also.
Yeah.
Same thing.
It's hard to stay healthy, though.
Yeah, it is. And Matthew says prices are higher than Justin Jefferson, who is arguably the best young receiver. I have got to say, playing with Joe Burrow, both being LSU teammates on an exciting team like the Bengals, definitely going to do more for your prices than on the Vikings with Kirk Cousins, like guaranteed.
I would much rather personally, and I know I'm a Packer fan, so it's a little bit biased, but I'd much rather invest in Jamar Chase knowing that Joe Burrow is going to be throwing to him for most of his career, if not all of it, compared to investing in Justin Jefferson, knowing that, Kirk Cousins or some other Joe Blow is probably going to be throwing to him.
Yeah, and I actually like Justin Jefferson, even as a Packer. Like, I don't want him to do well, obviously, against the Packers, but from like a talent standpoint, obviously insanely good. But it's all got to do with the QB too, I think. And Jason says this price will drop, no doubt about it. Chase is awesome, but this price is too high. This should be said. These were the first 2 to hit auction that were just redeemed. These prices definitely will fall, like Jason just mentioned. These were $3,500 as a redemption. The first ones went on at $6K now for the redeemed ones. Yeah, they're going to be dropping it probably lower to like $4,250. I'd see pretty soon here. So I'd recommend not buying this until proper amount of supply hits the market. What's up, Jeremy? He says, "What's up, my friends? Here for the insight and to hype my man Nate up when needed." Nate
Let's
loves it.
go.
Will says Chase passes the eyeball test for me. Well, that's a stamp of approval. Crazy acceleration has it all. That is true. And then also Matthew brings up a good point. Yeah, but look at what Jefferson did with the subpar QB. But that's assuming the Vikings can get someone in better or more exciting too.
Which that's a big assumption considering they keep paying Kirk Cousins because he's like the best QB they've ever had in the history of their franchise, not named Frank Tarkenton.
Or Brett Favre for one season.
Or Brett Favre for one season.
Okay, but back to the root of this thing. Everything and anything NT and flawless. Moving on from the Jamar Chase talk. I'm not a booklet guy. I'm not a random glove patch guy, but this booklet from Flawless, I don't know what's numbered of 2, I think. So for $1,682 of
pretty
Jamar
clean.
Chase. What do you say?
It's pretty clean.
It's pretty sick. It's got some sick silver foil in that thing. This would be a card that is definitely not sought after. Like I gotta get the best of the best from the investment market, like the true 99 from NT. I did not see any like 25s in them so recently, so I couldn't pull up the price. But I did see this Eminence out of 5 that just released pretty sick patch.
Dude, can you imagine? Could you imagine spending $30,000 on a case of Eminence? This is likely your best hit.
It's one of the best ones for sure.
And you're getting $3,000, a tenth of the box price for it.
Yeah, so this got auctioned off. Eminence definitely probably a group break pride only. If unless you just want to rip to blow a ton of money or try to hit the biggest of the big. But $3,000, I mean, it's half the price of the NT right now. It's a pretty sick card.
This is a very fair point.
Sorry.
A very fair point by Francesco. Jamar Chase will only be relevant until the next big wide receiver comes around. Happened to Justin Jefferson, like Matthew brought up, and will probably happen to Jamar Chase once the next young rookie comes through and puts up 1,400 yards.
Yeah, and think about it now with as much money as it's costing teams to sign wide receivers now. So many receivers are getting drafted in the first round, where the odds of someone I feel like breaking out is just really high. We've seen it a lot of years recently. Maybe not to Jamar Chase levels. But
I mean, if you were a follower along of Packers preseason football, Romeo Doubs is going to be like the next like superstar wide receiver from everything I've read.
Pause. Not Romeo. Danny Davis from Wisconsin, bro. He scored a touchdown against the Niners. Danny Davis, my guy, dude, making an appearance. I didn't even know he was going for the NFL, and there he is, number 20 as a receiver. I thought it was Kevin King at first.
Oh, thank goodness Kevin King is no longer around. That dude single-handedly missed us a Super Bowl.
And costs us TJ Watt because our management's stupid. All right. Joseph Gomez says, Kellen Mond hype train coming in hot. I have a feeling that I know nothing about Kellen Mond. I have no idea if he's going to be good. I have no idea if the Vikings are going to play him. All I know is he's drafted. I don't know if it's this past season. It might have been this past season. I feel like that, Nate, these teams kind of draft these QBs a lot of the time who you don't really hear about them on the draft day, but they're just kind of there. And then like hype starts to build like, oh, Kirk Cousins might get replaced. So this guy starts to rise in price. And it's like, oh, wait, he actually isn't that hyped up by the team itself. Now they're just going to draft someone in the first round the next year to replace the guy. Like, I feel like that's happened with a ton of different quarterbacks to where you kind of like feel like that they're going to be the guy and then they just never even end up playing at all. And I feel like that maybe that happens with Kellen Mond.
Or they do end up playing like Mason Rudolph. And then it comes crashing back down.
Yeah, one of the two. There's a lot of examples of both. So, I mean, very risky, very, very risky. But all you got to do is have him be named a starter, and then you can sell all of your cards because people start to buy for unrealistic reasons. Just like what happened to Mason Rudolph.
Yep.
And then I want to pull up another Jamar Chase here. This is the Immaculate Patch Auto. Pretty weak patch. There's a little corner of an orange. It looks, yeah, like Nate says, pretty small patch window. I'm not crazy about the single patch autos from this year's Immaculate. They don't look as good as like these Eminence and Flawless and NT cards. But $660. The boxes are less expensive. It's less of a hyped up card. But I got to say, if you're looking at getting a patch auto of $99 for an affordable price, $660 compared to $6,000, I think that might be what the average Joe is getting at here. It's a 10% of the price, and you can probably find a nice little patch auto for your collection without paying the maybe quote unquote, from the average Joe, overvalued NT prices. We'll wrap it up here pretty quickly. We got Prism Gold submitted from MH999922 or MH999921. I brought up a Prism Gold here of John Morant, $87,000 for the same card that there's like 500,000 plus cards of, but this one's gold. Seems pretty crazy to me. Like, I understand the value for the 2012 golds and like 2013, 2014 golds. The more you get down the line in Prism, Nate, the less any single variation gets appealing to me. I don't know if that's how it is for you.
Repeat that.
So, like, the further you get to the most recent Prism production, the less appealing every single variation gets. Like 2012 and 2013, 2014 golds, I find awesome. This is pretty boring to me. This John Morant.
What's the difference between this and a 2012 Prism Gold?
Well, let me tell you this. You can buy a gold or a green or a silver. For this, you can get your gold or your gold shimmer or your gold disco or your gold whatever, and I get that maybe that actually makes it a little bit more valuable because this stands out amongst the rest. There's just so many different parallels now, Nate, that I just don't, they all just look
okay. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Not specifically like there's blues out of 199 and blue ices out of 99 and reds out of 299, but specifically golds out of 10 of shimmer, gold disco, gold shimmer, gold. That's what you're saying?
Well, I'm just saying in general, Nate, Prism has become very much less appealing to me, to where the high Prism gold price is like 87K. I don't know if it makes a whole lot of sense when you can go and grab, like, maybe this is also dumb because this was the previously overhyped card, but the NTRPA out of 99 with a sick patch, which also is probably taken off a rack, like someone said earlier. So maybe we're just down a rabbit hole right now that all these super expensive $80,000 NT Prism and flawless cards are overvalued.
You could say that quite literally any piece of cardboard that sells for $80,000 is stupid.
I mean, I couldn't tell you're wrong if you're looking at this John Morant and saying it's dumb for selling for 84K. I agree with you. I think we got down a rabbit hole here. But
we did.
Back to the Prism Golds from MH. You look at the Prism Gold of John Morant for 87K. For that same amount of money, you could get the NT if you wanted to, with a R patch from the Grizzlies on the nameplate or the chest plate. You could spend a little bit more money and get the blockchain Logo Man auto from NT, which is the physical copy. I can't zoom out right now. I don't know what happened there. There we go. It's a physical copy that goes along with like the NFT that they sold, but that is actually a real card, 93K. Or you could spend even more money and get the 1/1 gold vinyl auto, which kind of the same deal. Well, what's another set? Another 1/1. The rabbit hole debate. And then if you look at this, I mean, this is where you maybe start to talk about overhype with gold Prism. Like, Giannis is in his own category where, like, he was really, I'd say it's one of the most important Prism cards ever made as Giannis's rookie. But for like Messi, the only reason why I feel that these Messi or 2014 Prism cards really have extreme value is because of the precedent that was set earlier with like a Giannis rookie. Because for Messi himself, you could get just about two PSA 10 2004 Mega Cracks rookies for that price of a gold Prism PSA 10, $522,000. Those Mega Cracks are produced 10 years earlier. They're way harder to grade, and they're super, super rare, like, for its own card, where, like, when you look at the overall print run, it's like there's way more Prism cards than Mega Cracks. Rookies, number 71. So I get the whole overhype deal. Same with the Brady, like 264K. Imagine how many amazing Brady rookies you can get for 264K. I don't know. There's just so many different gold Prism sales. You can look at them here if you're watching on YouTube. 70 grand for a 2019 Prism LeBron. That's Nate's, way down the line. This LeBron and the Brady, their first appearance in the Lakers jersey or first appearance in the Buccaneers jersey, selling for 40 grand and 70 grand. I feel like, Nate, that's where you draw the line.
I 100% draw the line there. That is the first card. If I were a betting man, that is the first card that, if 20 years from now cards aren't as valuable, that's the first card to lose all its value for a player like that.
The Brady or the LeBron or both?
Both.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if it's just that 1 year that LeBron joined the Lakers, that 1 year that Brady, I guess, won his 7th or 8th Super Bowl. I guess it means something to someone, though. That is how we end the live stream tonight. A little bit longer than normal, but I appreciate everyone that hung out this whole time. Let us know in the chat, or in the comments after the video, what you think the most overhyped cards in the market are. We brought up a ton of examples. If we had some more time, I would have ran through as many as we could have from you all too. There were some people that commented throughout the stream. I did see one in particular I was going to bring up. Oh, it was actually about the patches in NT National Treasures, like recent years from basketball, not for any specific game, yada yada yada, player, store, not from Walmart. No, I'm just kidding. But that very much so could be some of those overvalued if you think about it, because that patch is literally could be cut out of $50 jersey versus like a $10,000 game worn jersey of LaMelo Ball. So if you want to talk about overvalued, I guess that would make a lot of sense. Nate, anything to leave us off with?
Yeah, one last thing on rookie QBs, real quick. Just be careful. Just be careful. There's a lot of hype out there. A lot of people in these comments said, hey, rookie QBs are overrated, or a lot of people wrote that in. And obviously there's a ton of hype for guys that have not done a ton in their careers. And just don't always fall for the hype. I think rookie QBs is kind of like money chasing right now that people saw in other things, Marvel PMGs, kabooms, all that stuff that you see. And it's super risky. And if you care about your money, I think there's better places to spend.
I like it. Always do your research. Always be thoughtful, and also appreciate Carlatter Pro for providing us all his data today. Otherwise, this would not be possible. So, thanks everyone for joining tonight. Have a great rest of your week, and join us on Sunday at 9:45 p.m. Eastern Time for the next Flip Quest episode here on YouTube Live.